A young woman simply helped a blind man cross the road. But she never expected that this small act of kindness would change her entire life. Just minutes later, a mysterious man appeared and handed her a note with a strange message. Behind that note lay an unimaginable secret, a challenge, an opportunity, and something that would forever alter her destiny. Emily was a young woman in her 20s, kind-hearted but struggling through a difficult life. She worked as a waitress at a small cafe in the city center, barely making ends meet with her meager wages. Every day, she faced demanding customers, exhausting shifts, and the constant worry of rent hanging over her head. That afternoon, after finishing her shift, Emily stepped out onto the street, her mind heavy with worry. She had just been informed that her work hours were being cut, meaning this month's rent would be even harder to pay. She sighed, stuffed her hands into her coat pockets, and walked amidst the rush of the busy crowd. In this bustling city, everyone was caught up in their own lives. No one had time to stop. But at that very moment, something unexpected happened. As Emily approached the crosswalk, she noticed an elderly man standing quietly at the edge of the curb. He was dressed in a dark suit, holding a white cane in his hand. His face was kind but slightly anxious. The traffic was chaotic, and people rushed past him without a second glance. She hesitated for a second. Would someone stop to help him? But no, the crowd kept moving, oblivious. A taxi suddenly screeched to a halt in front of him, startling the old man and making him step back in uncertainty. It was clear he needed help. Without further hesitation, Emily quickly stepped forward. "Sir, may I help you cross the street?" she asked gently, but loud enough for him to hear. The old man turned his head toward her voice, his expression softening into a warm smile. "Thank you, my dear. I appreciate someone noticing." Carefully, Emily took his arm, guiding him across the street at a slow pace, shielding him from the wind and the rushing cars. When they reached the other side, the old man nodded gratefully. "You are very kind. I hope good things come your way." Emily smiled. To her, it was just a small act, but she had no idea that in just a few minutes, this act would change her life forever. She bid farewell to the old man and turned to leave. But after only a few steps, she heard the distinct sound of polished leather shoes approaching from behind. "Miss, please wait a moment," a deep, refined voice called out. Emily turned around. Standing before her was a middle-aged man with a distinguished appearance, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit. His face was serious, but not unkind, radiating an air of authority. In his hand was a neatly folded piece of paper. "My master wishes to give you this," the man said, extending the note toward Emily. She frowned slightly, hesitating, but then reached out to accept it. The paper bore only a single line of elegant handwriting. "Come to 27 Wellington Street at 8 p.m. tonight. This is an opportunity you won't want to miss." Emily looked up, confusion written all over her face. "Who is your master?" The man merely gave a small, knowing smile and did not answer directly. "If you come tonight, you will find out." Her heart pounded. Was this a trap? Or was it truly an opportunity? And what awaited her behind the doors of that grand house? Emily stood frozen in the middle of the crowd, her eyes locked onto the small note in her hand. A mysterious address, a cryptic invitation. She bit her lip, deep in thought. Since when did helping a blind man cross the street lead to something like this? She looked up, intending to ask the butler more questions, but he was gone, disappeared as if he had never been there. A strange unease stirred within her, half curiosity, half apprehension. Should she go? She pulled out her phone and quickly searched for the address. 27 Wellington, a grand estate in an upscale neighborhood, but there was almost no information about its owner. Leaning against a nearby bus stop, her mind was in turmoil. She wasn't the type to take risks, but something inside her urged her forward. She checked her watch. 6:15 p.m. If she was going to go, she had less than 2 hours to prepare. Logic told her to walk away, but her heart whispered otherwise. After a few moments of hesitation, Emily took a deep breath. Just this once. I'll go. 8 p.m. Emily stood before the towering iron gates of 27 Wellington Street. The soft glow of lanterns on either side of the entrance cast long shadows on the stone pavement. She swallowed hard. Why am I here? The grand mansion before her was worlds apart from her reality. Ivy-covered walls, towering windows with heavy velvet drapes, an air of mystery and authority surrounded the place. From inside, golden light spilled through the glass panes, but the house remained eerily silent. She reached out and pressed the doorbell. A deep chime echoed through the night. A few seconds later, the iron gates slowly creaked open. The man from earlier, the butler, appeared again. He nodded slightly, as if he had expected her. "My master is waiting for you," he said calmly. "Please come in." Emily's heart pounded as she took a deep breath and stepped through the gates, onto the vast stone driveway leading to the grand wooden doors of the estate. As they swung open, she was completely unprepared for what she saw inside. A magnificent entrance hall, its high ceilings adorned with an enormous crystal chandelier casting warm light across the marble floors. A grand staircase with a red carpet curved elegantly on either side. The air carried the faint scent of sandalwood, adding to the sense of mystery. And in the center of the room, seated in a luxurious armchair, was the blind old man she had helped earlier. But this time, he was not a helpless figure stranded at a crosswalk. He sat with perfect posture, his aged hands resting on the silver handle of his cane. Beside him, the butler stood silently, waiting. Emily swallowed hard and cautiously stepped forward. I'm glad to see you again," she said, her voice uncertain. The old man smiled. "Young lady, I have been expecting you." The butler stepped forward and handed her a thick envelope. "This is a small token of gratitude for your kindness to my master," he said. Emily blinked in shock. She opened the envelope and gasped. Inside were stacks of checks, an amount so large she could hardly believe her eyes. She stammered, "Sir, this is too much." The old man gently shook his head. "No, my dear, this is not money. This is an opportunity." Emily's eyes widened. An opportunity? Why her? "Would you like to hear a story?" the old man asked, a knowing smile on his lips. Her heart pounded. She knew, from this moment on, her life would never be the same again. If you believe kindness can change the world, leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced a moment like Emily's? Share your story, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories.